So, Petrina, when somebody walks in a room that you've designed, what do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel whatever they want to feel, actually. So I think my job is to really speak with them, find out who they are, find out what is important to them. And then my job is to find the DNA in that and work out how to translate that into their space.
So you've been interior design for 30 years.
Yes.
It's one of those professions. There's a lot of what do you call it, hobbyists, or a lot of people that probably over judge their own abilities. But you've been doing it 30 years.
I have, yeah. Good genes, thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think for me, I've always been really interested in education for myself. Like, I've been a learner all of my life. So while for some reason, I always knew I wanted to be a designer even before I kind of knew what it was. But there was also never a question for me about being educated in that field. And I think there are some extraordinary designers and decorators in the industry that maybe don't have a formal qualification, but they've got decades of experience as well, and they come at it with something else. But for me personally, I like to have that technical background, that education to really support the decisions that I make intuitively. Yeah.
And so obviously a long career of 30 years doing it, like you would reflect on yourself when you first started.
Yeah.
And I'm sure things have changed.
Yeah.
And you've changed.
Yeah, look, and my first qualification, I'm a drafty. So I started with a technical brain, if that makes sense, which I love.
Yeah, it's a good background.
I think it really helps me have the creative wild ideas, but also think about how they can be possible. And I'm always going to be pushing that limit of what is possible, but come at it with asking a lot of questions about how can we make it happen. I started as a drafty. It was actually because I didn't get into an interior design course. The year I did my HSC in New South Wales, the grading system got changed, and anything that was considered a humanities, so anything creative, was automatically scaled down. I'd actually done technical drawing at school. I was sitting in a room full of boys doing woodworking. I was the only person who did it at the school. So I always knew that was the path, and I was just like, okay, so if I didn't get into the interior design course, what can I do to get where I want to go? And to me, the drafting, having that technical skill of being able to communicate visually what I was trying to get across seemed like a sort of natural way to get there. Yeah.
And colour is obviously a big theme in interior design generally, clearly very evident.
Yeah.
I was just talking about how dull I look or grey, but I'd like to explore more colour. I visited Palm Springs a couple of years ago for Modernism Week, and all the homes they had open, and the use of colour there, I was like, why aren't we doing this? Like it just adds such vibrance, and of course that's in the desert.
I think the environment plays a big part of that. The light from the sky, all of those sorts of things play a really important role.
Yeah, and so a lot of people see colour as like decoration. You sort of use it as a tool. Yeah,
I think it's much more an emotional tool than it is about decoration. I think that people respond to colour in a way that they don't necessarily, if we're talking theory, that they don't necessarily about other design theories or principles. It's just something that emotionally hits people. And often it's about core memories, places that they've been, people that they knew. There's often a colour related to that. And I think that's why it can resonate really well with people. But also, even neutral isn't neutral. There's always an undertone to it. And so I think when you consider then undertones that come in to even a neutral space, there's a real life in it that can be just as powerful as like a really bold coloured interior.
You definitely, it seems like you're talking about like psychology, not talking about like the colour of a house, which is a fascinating angle.
I do sometimes joke about that
Yeah.
often you go in as the interior designer and you come out as the psychologist because you're sort of, you might be the mediator between multiple personalities and what their likes and needs are as well. And my job is to come in and go, okay, listen, what is it that each of you want to feel? What is it that you want the space to do for you? Because I think that's really important is how a home, a commercial space even behaves for you. And I think as an interior designer, that's a really important role to carry. So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I found it interesting when we were talking, where you were talking about how you get a brief from a person, how it really starts with psychology. And the mood board you put together.
Yeah, so I think for me, what I really want to do in an initial meeting with a client is just get to know who they are is actually the most important thing, because they're sort of tick boxes of what an interior or a home or what have you should be, for me, are not necessarily the most important things. And what I mean by that is how many sinks do you need in your kitchen? What sort of oven do you want? They're really, really important factors, but they don't really speak to how people want to feel in a space. And so I want to know who you are. I ask, what sort of things do you love doing? What brings you joy? Sometimes what's your favourite holiday destination? If you had a dream place you could go, where would it be? Because that tells you something about people. And then my process is my version of a mood board in the first instance is actually doing a visual storyboard of those aspects of who a person is. My mood board initially is not a materials board. So my mood board, if someone says they like a particular place, I've got a client at the moment, it's a beautiful heritage building in the city. It was converted to apartments in 2001, so very 90s developer style fit out of the whole building. He's a musician, loves theatre. It's in Collins Street, so it's got a real history of that sort of classic, bar, speak easy kind of vibe. It was built in 1926, so 100 years old.
Yep.
And so he really wanted it to feel warm and inviting. We wanted to reflect the outside of the building, which is extraordinary, and bring a little bit of that feeling and that mood of old school Collins Street that he was really that's why he bought there partially, because it gives him that in his social atmosphere. And so I created mood boards that were beautiful streetscapes of Collins Street from, 50, 60, 70 years ago, a jazz bar with, that moody sort of vibe. And that then informs things like colours that I'm going to bring into the space and textures. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun job.
It's,
And it sounds a little bit like criminal crime. What's that psychological one? Criminal Minds.
Oh, yeah. And we're not creating a speakeasy bar, but we're using those cues of what the feeling those places create and bringing them into the design to suit his brief and then how he lives in the space.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So it's deep. It's much deeper than just...
Yeah. It's more than just... I think every designer has a checklist sitting about here of going, I really want to use this colour and this piece of furniture and this material in a project.
Yeah.
And we all bring those to projects, but for me it's about bringing them when it suits the concept and the story of the client.
Yes. So I've always known understood that brands, use colours as signals, and that's meaning that green means whatever it means, happiness for everybody. But you're going, well, maybe this person got their face rubbed in the grass and don't like it, or maybe
it's exactly. So while there's studied colour psychology, there's also personal experience that comes into play. And exactly, Simon, what you just said is that people might have a negative experience surrounding a certain colour that then they're like, not that one.
Yeah.
And so sometimes as well the question I ask is, what don't you want? Because that's like an instinctual, or not this. But again, sometimes that comes in because I can reintroduce it in a way that actually speaks to them in a different perspective. Yeah. So it's kind of fun to work out where the sweet spot is that sits into who they are.
Got you.
Yeah.
The vast majority of homes, the reality is, in Australia are very, very simple. You know, they're off-white or they're a light grey, or that's probably as far as most people go. People are really driven in Australia, as we know, about resale.
Yeah.
Whereas, and probably not really considering that they're going to experience that home for most days of their life.
Yes.
So what's holding people back from being more personal, embracing what they actually want?
I think maybe it's, again, people, there's a lot of talk, in industry, TV shows, things like that, about resale, and there's selling shows and those sorts of things. But what I don't think people hear enough about is making a home your own. And for me, I'm not really interested in designing a house for someone that's actually for some unknown person that may or may not buy it in 5 years, 6 months or 10 years. Because in that period, no matter how short or long it is, the actual client needs to feel themselves in that home. And also on top of that, what I think happens is that when you design with intention for a particular client, that intention and meaning sits into the property. And so new people that come in feel that. It's, again, goes back to feeling. And I think that when something is somewhat generic, nobody feels much of anything. When there's some meaning that's been put into it, then you're going to find the right client if it is selling. Because people will recognise, oh, this has been made really beautifully. Someone really thought about this. And they might not understand why or the meaning that was for that person that they're buying it off, but they'll feel it. And to me, that's what's important. And, I've had that scenario where I was designing a home for a client that was going to be their forever home, and their circumstances changed. And within 6 months of it happening, they were selling. But we designed this beautiful, it was actually a transition bathroom between a Queen Anne front of the house and an 80s extension at the back. Beautiful. And so I found structurally, in a sense of where tile lines went and things like that, a beautiful middle ground for it that spoke to the front and the back of the house. But we also brought in some colour into the space. We had beautiful marble Ming green fan tiles on the walls. The vanity that was a wall-to-wall was also in a custom painted finish, again in this beautiful sort of tealy green that sat in with the marble tiles. And you would think for resale people would be like, oh, you can't do that. And it was actually the room in the house that the real estate photographers featured that sold the house because people could feel the quality, they could feel the thought and the intention that went into it, I think. Yeah.
And really it's not colour for colour's sake, is it?
No. I think colour always comes with meaning. And again, it could be a cue from something that a client says to me that is a memory or a feeling. But also sometimes I bring it at a place where they might say, I want it to feel calm and relaxed, as an example. And I also really love digging into the idea of biophilic design, which is about bringing nature into interiors or buildings. There's really amazing studies about biophilic design, about what it does to your mental health and well-being. And it doesn't have to be literal nature to have those benefits. So sometimes bringing those nature colours, greens, clay tones, anything that sort of gets that feeling coming through resonates with people.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies on biophilic design. Like I think there's a hospital or something that people healed quicker.
Yeah, so there's a study that patients that are in a room that has a view, that has a tree outside the window or nature of some sort heal faster than a room that doesn't look onto nature.
Yeah, wow.
Amazing.
It's pretty stark.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted so much.
Yes.
Is there a colour that you reach for again and again?
It's like making me pick a favourite child.
Yeah.
But I think for me personally, I really enjoy those like fleshy tones as a base for things to go on top of. I think, those sort of skin, sort of fleshy, blushy tones work really beautifully. Everything else sits on top of it. It goes with everything else. I also feel like for me, it's like you're living within your own skin then. And not in that sort of creepy, weird, delicious way. I don't know if you've seen Wuthering Heights' recent release, but Kathy's bedroom is actually clad in sort of like a rubber that is the set designer replicated Margot Robbie's skin.
Oh, wow.
And it is the skin of the bedroom that she's
creepy.
living in.
Yeah.
Kind of creepy, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's because it feels that there's a familiarity about it or something like that. So that's one of my go-tos personally, but I also think it works in general with spaces. But I can't really pick a favourite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what, like we're in a deep green sort of room. What does this sort of speak?
Oh, I just think it feels like a little bit cave-like, mossy walls and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. The
bright lights don't tell me that, but the green walls certainly do. Yeah.
For me, green and timber field just seems to be, I mean, as I'm speaking that, I just see a forest.
Yes.
It seems pretty obvious what it relates to when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So it's...
Yeah, I think so. Definitely nature. Often, I also teach design and sometimes an exercise I love to do is get people to close their eyes and talk about and think about a space that is their happy place, and 8 or 9 times out of 10 it's somewhere in nature. So it's either walking in a forest, going to the beach. My happy place is my local beach. And what I love about it is I'm sort of down, Chelsea Way, and it's a vast beach, like it's broad. So you get a big view. But also every time I go there, no matter what time of the day, it's different. The colours change. The water colour, the sky colour, the transition between them is different every single time I go down there, and I love it for that. Yeah.
It seems like you're completely indulged or immersed in this world of, and it feels like you've been made aware of something that most mere mortals haven't. Would that be a fair thing to
I think in some ways it is innately in me. I think I've just always, I am I think I'm a sensitive person to other people and myself. And I think that makes a difference in how I receive information, whether it's from other people or just my environment. So, I definitely think that it's something innately in me. It was something I was brought up with as well. My mum was very much about embracing, what you have and making the most of it and finding the joy in it. So I definitely think it's also part of who I am. Yeah.
But like the feelings we get from a room, it's often not really. It's often hard to put your finger on. It's not really a conscious understanding. Where it feels really subconscious. You seem to understand. Well, like you've obviously, you've made a career out of it. Career out of really understanding what moves people in terms of interiors and environments and colours within it. Is it just a subconscious thing that people are... Because the buildings that... one particular... we focus a lot on design when we build, and, you want to design it once, you want to design it...
Design once well.
Exactly. For we don't want to design for 20 years. It's want to be there for 100 plus. That's the homes that stand today are the ones that still serve people now. That's our job, really, to serve people. But you can tell, like to your point earlier, but you can tell when a room or a house or whatever it be, even a object, is designed really considerately. You know,
Yeah, and it's because you feel it. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily because you can see and go, oh, it's because of this tile or that detail that's been built in or this or that. It's the culmination of the thought and the care of the people that have worked on it.
Yeah.
With the clients have put into it, that is what gives you the feeling for me.
Yeah, and so obviously there are people that are not as sensitive, I suppose, or connected with their subconscious, I guess. But a lot of these spaces, you can just feel that they, you can just feel something different. You know when they're done well. I'm also thinking now of that Netflix documentary again, Abstract. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen various episodes of it.
Yeah. It's very interesting, just the depth of like the fonts, and shoes and then cars and just the amount of the design of our world is it's a fascinating thing.
Yeah, and it's I think what people don't always think about is that almost everything in the world that we access or touch is designed by someone. This table has been designed by someone.
Yeah.
This building has been designed. The pen, the podcast equipment that we're sitting amongst here takes someone's creative mind and interpreting information or data into something to give people an experience or a feeling. The world is designed, and I think sometimes designers are underrepresented. People don't think about it because we take the things we pick up for granted. We don't pick it up and go, oh, the person who designed this was amazing. We just go, oh, this is easy to use. And to me, that's my job, is to make people not have to think about why, but just feel it.
Yeah. Just feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yep. It's really opened up a world to me. I come from a carpentry background, and it's very, logical. You use a hammer to hit things.
But you're also feeling it in a physical way at the same time. So that energy and the passion for what you do comes from you into the tools, into the space.
Yeah. But probably the realisation of it's not always there, though.
But that's what I was saying, even with regards to people don't realise everything we have around us is designed. And I know that at the moment it's amazing. The Design Institute of Australia is working on a campaign with the upcoming census for designers. Designers to write designer as their occupation.
Oh, right.
Very clearly.
Is that a first?
Well, it's a first category.
Right.
So that it becomes more consciously invested in and thought about and appreciated, and so that designers really are seen for the untold or unthought about work that they do, I think. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you mentioned more things, sort of designers and I can see it generally taken for granted. I can sort of see it in Australia, and maybe it's part of the reason why we have the biggest homes in the world. Just we can't figure out how to make it feel better and actually serve life. Let's just add a room. Let's just add some space.
Yeah.
Is that sort of feels to be a lazy option?
Yeah, I don't know about lazy, but I just think it's that people don't realise what the alternatives could be. And again, I think that's education through talking about it, like we're doing now, and things like that. Yeah,
but a bit through not really appreciating that design, the design.
Yeah. And again,
aspect.
because I don't think people always understand what we do. So I think that, in a lot of spaces, designer, decorator, stylist become interchangeable, and they're all equally as valuable in their own way. But I don't think people understand a bit more structurally, and I don't mean engineering-wise, but physically in a space, what an interior designer can bring to it.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I think there's a little bit of a mystery or a myth about what we actually do. We're not just like pillow fluffers.
Gotcha. Yeah, right. Yeah, nice. And so you've done work as well with Home of Hope. And
So the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, the ASRC, and I think it was, I don't know, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago, they moved from one location. They've just had their 25th anniversary of being in existence this year. And I had been a volunteer with them in one of their programs, which was assisting people seeking asylum going to appointments. And when they were moving to the new Home of Hope, which is across the road from where they started 25 years ago, I got in touch with Con, who's their incredible CEO, and was like, I've got this skill. Can I bring my professional skills some way rather than as well as my heart to help in any way? And they had been generously donated a bunch of things like commercial furniture and all sorts of things. And it was really close to my heart. And so I just helped, one, curate the mass of objects that they'd been donated to make sure that they worked seamlessly and beautifully within a space. But I also worked on colour schemes and things like that, again, because I think colour is really powerful. And I think it's because I think that why I was really drawn to helping with that project was that when you're dealing with, and it was predominantly the community space that I helped with, when you're working with people who have lost their home, fled a country, are hoping for a better life that all of us take for granted because we're lucky to be born where we're born. Colour and design becomes much more than decoration. I think it becomes about dignity. And one of my hopes for the space was to create a space that, because what I think is that people, everybody deserves a space that is more than just the functionality of it. It's also about how it makes them feel and that it's been thoughtful and beautiful. Because I think sometimes with projects like community-based projects or accessibility even, I've done a couple of commercial projects where we've got accessibility facilities within them, and I'm always designing them with the same care and intention that I design every other space. To me, it's no different because people, whether it's seeking asylum, are living with a disability, it's no different. Everyone has those same core needs to want to feel like they belong and that someone's cared about them. So to me, that's sort of really where I came at it from.
It sounds like a really rewarding...
Oh, it was amazing, and I've been able to see and know the most extraordinary people through that. It's been such a privilege.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. I think I got more out of it than I gave, to be honest.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting back to home and colour, I suppose, within a home. So do you think people you don't know what a colour can do for them in their home, and that's why we've just got this?
Yeah, I think that is definitely part of it, is that people don't understand and they're not, I guess we use the word brave, but people don't feel brave enough to give it a try because they're worried that they'll get it wrong. And to that, I'm like, start with paint or something that's really easy to shift out if it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, so paint seems to be just the most obvious thing. I'd love to see the stats of how much white-based paint the manufacturers sell opposed to.
Yeah. But have you ever tried to buy white paint? They're not just white. As
No.
I said, there's undertones and all sorts of things. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, white paint is like horrible. It's like
there's a list this long of white paints, but that's what I love about it is then it's about figuring out, is it a yellow base? Is it a pink base? Is it a green base? Is it a cool base? What do you want the space to feel like? What direction does it face? Is it north or south facing? Is it east or west? Because they're going to change a white paint in minutes as the sky changes.
Yeah. The actual tone of it changes dramatically.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's a really interesting, and I think it's fear, but I think it's really rewarding when you see people that then go, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels that. What do you think that? What are people missing when they're not exploring, I suppose, these aspects of?
I think they're just missing the sort of atmosphere they can create with it. Because what they are then, what you then have to do is a lot of other things take on the heavy lifting. So if a space is neutral, let's say, and I've already talked about that neutral is not neutral, but let's say it's neutral. Things like texture and materials then need to do a bit of heavy lifting as well. They kind of have to step up even further because otherwise it could feel cold or clinical. Yeah. And I mean, I use texture, material and colour in tandem, but not everybody does.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
and so then the balance has to shift a little bit more, I think. So, I see beautiful, crisp, pristine, white spaces, but the best ones for me have amazing textures that can then come into play, really textural fabrics on furniture and flooring and, linens and all of those sorts of things. So I think that's then where the shift can happen. If you don't feel comfortable with colour, you could shift it to texture. But I think colour is really powerful.
Yeah.
And, I have a great conversation once with a client that they were a couple that had got married later in life, both had grown families, so came together with an amazing collection of classic and modernist furniture and art, but that didn't necessarily talk to each other. And it was a home that had been built in the 90s as a project home, so fairly simple in its sort of aesthetic. And so she called me in to help curate their two lives together as a starting point. And the way I did that was I sort of sifted through what pieces of furniture and art spoke to each other, and it could have been an aesthetic or a colour or a period that did that. And then I actually used colour as a thread to do that as well. So what was a white home, we then used some beautiful rich denim blue colours in the dining room because it was an important meeting space once a week for family and friend dinners. So we wanted it to feel nurturing and, really sort of like a big hug as far as the depth of the colour. But we used some stronger colours. We used some wallpapers and we used lighting and textiles to repurpose pieces of furniture as well to modernise some and tie them all together. And what was really interesting was that on the day after the gorgeous Volkerhaug colourful pendant had gone in over the dining table, we were just like straightening up the dining table underneath it. And she was talking to me about her husband who she was chatting with about, I'll be home at such and such a time. And he looked at it like she was an alien or something. And she's like, what are you looking at me like that for? And he said, because this is the first time you've called it home. And I was like, job done.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And that's my goal, is to have it feel like it's theirs.
Really intentionally, like not just throw things.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been focused, or I've been focused very much about colour.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a lot more. You've mentioned light, use of lights and textures.
Yes.
What else? What else have we got to Make our home our home.
Yeah. So a really interesting thing I love, as I said, is that DNA aspect. So it could be like a current project, again, that I'm working on, a different one. It is the home that the client's parents owned for 50 years, and it's a small heritage listed facade that they're modernising internally to be their forever home. So she has an attachment to it because it was the family home, but they also want to make it their own. And I came into the project once the internal plaster and everything had come off because asbestos removal and things like that, because of when the period it was built in. And so there were the raw stud walls with, that beautiful timber battening that used to run.
Yeah, the lath and plaster.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So there was timber remnants, but there were also still remnants of the original cornices and some wallpaper details that had these beautiful colours in them. And then the brick chimneys that in the building designer's design are going because of making more space in the house. Externally they're staying, but internally they're going. But I was saying to the client, can I just take a photo of this? Because there was this beautiful clay colour and texture, but also the clients had already said they liked a bit of neutral. But there was also the sort of charcoaly soot from the fire, sort of, almost giving it a patina, parts of the cement holding the bricks together, and the palette it created in line with the sort of clay tones and wallpaper that had bits of sort of soft pinkish oranges and greens has spoken to the palette now that we're using in the house. But also the bricks, I was like, then they're not leaving the house, are they? So we're going to repurpose them into the back garden.
Great.
So that there's still a bit of that DNA of the house. We're using the palette as the inspiration. And then the front two rooms are remaining. They have to. But at the hallway was a beautiful plastered arch and corbels. And they have been kept, and we're reworking them into the front entrance of the house as well.
Yeah.
So again, I think sometimes it can be things from the build. I don't believe in throwing things away for the sake of getting new. So even materials, I'm like, can we figure out a way to make this work into the new space? I'm also the one that when I go and visit a client, am checking all of their furniture out and seeing what we can repurpose. So most of my projects have furniture that might be an heirloom, but it might also just be something that when they were in uni, it was, what they found at the op shop, but it means something to them because it was their first piece of furniture, and we might reupholster it and rework it into a space. I love doing that. So it's about finding connections, really, and then making them not obvious because we want to give them new life into its new use. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So much what we talk about in this podcast is that it's connection. It's all about connection.
Connection.
Really, to whatever it be, colour,
Yeah.
an object from the past,
Material,
a family,
a story.
heirloom. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Yeah. And it's really lovely to be able to work with people like that because I appreciate that it takes a lot of trust. Because people are inviting me into their home.
Yeah.
And they're telling me their personal stories. And I don't take that lightly. So I think it's really nice to be able to then use my knowledge and expertise and find a way that we can incorporate some of that DNA back into the space.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see how you need to understand, well, you need to go into their psychology, really.
Yeah.
And that what uncover what objects or things or what life means to them.
Yeah.
Really.
Because it's also that the things are often the memories.
Yes. Yeah. That's right. They're connected with
Right?
memories. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I've got a core memory of growing up and regularly visiting my grandmother's house. And her style was amazing. And the dining room was those 1970s chrome sleigh chairs with upholstered back and seat. But the back and seat were in this amazing teal velvet with black and gold stripes in it. And the curtains were like a shot teal silk. And it's a core memory, but the reason it's a core memory is because we spent so much time sitting at that dining table, having grandma's, roast lunch, chopped salad, her amazing trifle, and sharing stories. And so I would sit in that and look at the curtains while I'm immersing in this family experience.
Yeah, wow.
So the picture of the space really picks up into my mind, but it's because of the memories attached to it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Have we gotten less expressive with it? I'm just thinking back to my grandparents' home, and they had this beautiful floral carpet. It was, I don't know.
People pay a lot to pull that out and turn it into rugs these days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That Axminster carpet, it's amazing.
Yeah, it would have been like horsehair carpet, was it?
And look, I don't necessarily think it's people have become less expressive, because I think what's also good to remember is not everyone's the same. And that's also what I come into. So, tell me what you like, what you want to feel, and then I'll interpret that with my tools. But not everybody is the same, and how boring if we were. So, what is boring to one is beautiful, calm zen to another. So I think the difference is if it's done with intention.
Yes, yeah. That's the bit I feel like we may be erring away from. I feel like people are a bit too safe. You don't want to sort of step outside the box.
Yeah. And again, I think it's fear.
Yeah.
Or not understanding how it's possible to do something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find I'm, in some ways, as I said, I also teach, but in some ways I'm as much of an educator with my clients as I am with my students, in the sense of, tell me how you want it to feel. This is what you say you want it to look like, but I'm not sure that's going to give you the feel you want. Let's explore ways that we can get you the feeling. Yeah.
Yes, and really you're designing life inside the home.
Completely.
Yeah, like
completely.
You're considering furniture.
What are the rituals?
Yeah.
How do you cook, and not necessarily physically, but the two of you share the cooking, or is it like a social experience where people come in and stand around and drink a cocktail while you're getting some nibblies ready? Are you that sort of vibe in a house? They're all the things I want to know about, so that I can make sure I'm designing the island in a kitchen to suit actually how you're going to use it. Is it going to have homework done at it? Do we need to then put USB-C power points hidden somewhere really easily accessible so you can plug your laptop in? Is it a dining height sitting at?
Yep.
Is it a bar height sitting at? How do you want to use it? So the conversations about the how and the why particularly are really what inform the design decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's clearly a great privilege to be able to design a home. Well, to have your home designed and considered really thoughtfully for you. I mean, we live in this. Yeah. We do live in a time of abundance, which is great, but it's great to connect to that meaning really behind it. I'm often surprised, people come to us, they know they want to ultimately upgrade their life with renovation, extension, whether it's interiors or whole new home.
Yeah.
And just the process that we'd take them through, which sounds, you go very deep on, clearly getting them to actually recognise what they do in their rituals, whether they're a morning person, whether they're drinking coffee in the sun, or whether they're a wine of an evening.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that.
And a lot of people don't sort of
They don't think about it.
No, they don't get the
But I
opportunity.
think it's because no one's ever asked them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good point.
Yeah. You would know if that's your process, that once you start asking people those questions, you find out the most amazing things about how they live and why. And in some ways it makes your job easier.
For sure.
Because some people might look at that as a bit of a constraint, like, oh, they've told me that it needs to do this, but I actually see it as a real opportunity, and it makes me a better designer to be like, okay, I haven't thought about this before because that's not my experience. So tell me what your experience is, and then I'll use my technical skill and my creative knowledge and work out how we can make that happen for you.
Yes, you talked before about a lot of people. Well, yeah, people trusting you. That's the sort of ultimate
Big
for the role that you play.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine you wouldn't get many people that come to you, this is the way I want to do it. Yeah, like really they have to come to you for, like they have to give up something.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's giving up something because even people who have maybe a definite idea, a lot of people come with like a Pinterest board or something like that. And again, it's just about me going, why? What is it about that? Because it's not necessarily it's that looking room. It's about something about that room that resonates with them, not the visual as a whole. And often once you draw down into it, it's like, oh, I love how it allows us to, gather around here. It's not necessarily I like the colour palette.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, we often get the same thing.
Yeah.
There's these, hero images or aspirational images.
Yeah.
And it's obviously just one, there might be one thing of 10 sort of aspects to it that people just are drawn to.
So my question when that happens, I love is like, what is it about that that resonates with you?
Got you. And then no doubt there'd be multiple different images and multiple different things, and your job's to
put all
connect
those puzzle pieces together.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Magic in the end.
Yeah, maybe.
That's great. And you've mentioned before about being a storyteller as much as a designer.
Yeah. And again, I think it's because I'm taking aspects of people's stories and then translating them.
And what story do you see a home meant to tell?
Who you are and how you want to feel, really. I think it's as simple as that. Yeah.
So
and nobody else needs to know what those things are, even people that come and visit you, because as long as it resonates with you, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah. Yeah, very personal. I mean, that makes sense. Step away from that.
Yeah.
The investment model, which is a bit of a cancer in society, it feels.
Yeah, look, and I think in some ways, again, it goes back to return on investment. So there's the thought that if we do something that suits nobody in particular, it'll suit everybody. But as we've both spoken about with our clients,
what a great line that is.
When you make something feel personal, it'll resonate with everyone in some form or another. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I'll have to quote you on that one. Tell me then now, what's the home that you carry with you? What's the home that you think of when a person asks?
That's a really hard one because I've got like in my mind core visuals. I've loved a lot of homes, but the core memories, like my grandma's dining room memory, are linked to something that was an experience that's either linked. There's a thread that's family or friends or love or memories, and that's why things about them stand out to me. So again, it's more about the feeling I got in them. Because, the house, I grew up in Housing Commission in Western Sydney as my first home. And I was quite young, but I remember it. And my memory is it was a block of flats and I'd, down in the car park, I think stepped on a piece of broken, the drainage grill.
Oh, yeah.
And my sister, who's almost 6 years older than me, carrying me up 6 flights of stairs, or it might not have been 6, but to me at, 2 or 3 it felt like it. And then walking into the flat and just feeling like I'm okay. Or that, 1950s house that was when my mum and dad got married, and we actually moved into my dad's sister's house. They'd moved to Papua New Guinea for work, and it was the first house in the 1950s that was built on Nepean Avenue in Penrith, which is in Western Sydney, so along the river. But it was this, and I think sadly it's been pulled down. But I have memories of there was like a long front of it with a hallway with big glass sort of, paned windows, and the bedroom sat off it. And doing cartwheels down the hallway, or and the kitchen was as big as this desk table. It was tiny, but you'd step down into a sunken, what was our dining room, but it had the full wall of joinery with, the door that opened up and there was a bar inside and things like that. So that was like my sort of age 4 to like high school house.
Yeah, wow.
But I've got memories of, because I was there, of mum and dad, because the wedding was at the house. And they're in that room with all of their gifts and the flocked wallpaper and this amazing joinery, but just them standing there looking so happy. Like it's just all of these amazing memories.
Yeah,
and the house that I've got now, that is my first house that I've owned, that's only possible because of my bank of mum and dad.
Yeah, like so many now.
Yeah. So I think it's all about the things that I did in them that give me visual memories of those times and, what they mean to me, not a particular house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was very vivid, that those memories that you have from
I've got these core
childhood.
Visuals that come back to me, but they're connected to those memories.
And for someone listening who wants to be braver with colour, what could they do? Where would they start this weekend if they wanted to?
Yeah, so my advice on that is to start with things that you love and that are meaningful to you rather than a paint chart. And what I mean by that is it could be a holiday that you've been on, that, it could be like, oh my God, I remember when I was 19 and I travelled to Santorini and those blue domed ceilings were amazing and I just want to feel that freedom again. Maybe that's a colour that you might bring in to give you that core like spike of, adrenaline or joy. It also could be, like I have said, a memory of some sort, but also the other really cool things is look in your wardrobe. Because often people wear things that make them feel good. I mean, not often, we do, without even thinking about it. So take your cues from your wardrobe. See if there's a colour that you keep bringing out. It could be a piece of jewellery or a coat or a shoe. And start with colour in that way. So start small. Use it. If you wear colour just as an accessory and everything else you do is neutral, use colour as an accessory in your home. So use it for objects, piece of ceramics, a cushion, something like that. Or start small with paint. Paint the inside of a cabinet. A colour that might bring you joy every time you open it. Or the smallest room in the house, which is the powder room. Is a great place to start. It's always the place where people feel like they can just like let loose because, it's that little room. Or just start with art that you love as well. So just start with things, not paint charts, but things. Look to where the colour is in your life. And it's that funny thing that when you're not thinking about it, you don't see it. But if I'm now saying to you, start to look at the colour in your life, you'll start to notice it. Because all of a sudden the consciousness comes in.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Because maybe your orange socks that I believe you've got hiding under the table are your like accessory that comes into the house.
I should be tucking my pants into my socks maybe. But maybe.
But you know what I mean? So it's like take cues from how you live.
It makes clear sense. And
Yeah.
that you say it and you put it so simply.
Yeah, and start small because it's actually not as scary as we think it is. But sometimes with anything that's new to us, if we start small, we get used to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So true. Excellent. So where can people find you?
So they can find me on my social of choice is Instagram. So I'm at Petrina Turner Design. I kind of use it, which I always have, as a bit of a visual diary. So you'll hear all those things that swirl around in my brain as my captions, as well as the beautiful things I see as I go around the world. You can find me at my website, which is petrinaturnerdesign.com.au. And yeah, you'll often find me in a classroom, whether it's virtual or real, teaching. And sometimes you'll find me in a tap dancing studio.
Ah, nice. Excellent. Thank you, Petrina. That was great.
Thank you, Simon. It was such a joy to chat with you.
Excellent. Cheers.
Thank you.